Hi, everyone, and welcome to Dr. Z PhD podcast, a podcast created by me, a clinical psychologist specializing exclusively in transgender and non-binary adults. And if this is your first time here, welcome. And if you are a follower of mine on Dr. Z PhD YouTube, where you are very familiar with my depthful content on gender dysphoria, welcome to the podcast as well. And if you like this podcast and are enjoying it and find it beneficial, please do give it a rate, give it some thumbs up, share, spread the word. I would very much appreciate that. I am recording this in the evening, which is quite unusual for me to do a recording. I often record podcasts mid-afternoon, maybe in the morning, but this evening I just felt like sitting down with all of you and having another heart-to-heart conversation. And today I'd like to address a fear that so many of you may have struggled with, or most likely still struggling with. And it is such a common fear that I encounter in so many individuals I work with. And that's a fear of being afraid that you are never going to see you. That you're never going to look in a mirror and really see her, him, them reflected back to you. This fear oftentimes tends to be fears that overwhelms your mind in the beginning, in the early stages, maybe when you're just exploring your gender, or especially tends to be common when you're about to start or have started gender transition, and there's a part of you that can sense and maybe can even feel, and for some of you, can even visually imagine in your mind's eye, you. That inner you that is connected to your gender. But yet, is unable to see that person reflected back to you in the mirror. And you know what? I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about how hopeless that's got to feel for so many of you. To especially start the path of gender transition, and a week goes by, another week goes by, a month goes by, and you're still struggling to see yourself. You're still not seeing that person you know yourself to be on the inside. How hopeless it ought to feel. How challenging it must be for so many of you to continue to take steps forward. And as I was thinking about this, I thought that the only closest I have ever come to feeling this way is when I was 16 years old and I was diagnosed with osteosarcoma, cancer of the right side of my knee. And as a result of the type of tumor I had and the type of malignancy I had, the doctors prescribed 16 chemotherapies. And during the time period, I became somebody else. Now, God forbid, if any of you ever had to go through cancer treatment, you will totally understand. And if not, God forbid, if you witnessed a loved one to go through cancer treatment, or maybe you have seen one of those, what is it, the name of the hospital? St. Jude, I think, Children's Hospital that battles cancer and does cancer research. A fundraising commercial that always breaks me down in tears. If you've seen that commercial or had a loved one, or God forbid yourself have gone through cancer, you know that chemo turns you into an alien. It strips you of your sense of self. I remember at 16, I lost all of my hair. My eyebrows were gone. My eyelashes were gone. And because chemo is such a toxic poison that it doesn't just kill cancer, it kills part of your spirit. And it leaves your skin looking with this yellowish hue. Your fingertips turn yellow. I'm massaging mine right now as I say this. The underneath the eyes turns this yellowish brownish tone. And I remember looking in a mirror and not understanding who was staring back at me. I never, ever got comfortable with the alien look that chemotherapy bestows on you. And I never recognized the person looking back at me. But I knew that deep down inside, deep down within, there was this healthy, happy, thriving, full of hair, full of eyelashes, full of eyebrows, girl inside of me. And when I was looking at myself, I couldn't help but feel so hopeless. It felt as if this is going to be forever. This is the way I'm going to be for the rest of my life. And I know that going through cancer and struggling and going through gender dysphoria are not the same, but the feelings they elicit, the feelings I felt, I bet are the feelings so many of you have felt or are currently feeling. When you look at yourself and you're not seeing yourself, and you're not recognizing who is that person in a mirror, even though you know that person looking back at you is, in some respects, an aspect of you. It is the most mind-twisted experience, really. And here you are supposed to have faith and hope that the way you feel and see yourself on the inside is going to be the way you are going to see yourself reflected back. And I know how hard that is. And while I have not been there with gender dysphoria, I have been there with something else. And I have witnessed so many of my clients have the same fear. I will never see her. I will never see him. I will never see them. Until one day, suddenly, something clicks, and every single person always starts seeing themselves. I have yet to see a person that has not experienced this as long as they're taking some steps forward, their authentic self. It makes me think of a quote by Michelangelo, who said, "I saw the angel in the marble, and I carved until I set him free." And that's exactly what's happening. What's happening with you, what happened with me, and maybe what happened with you too. We all knew there was an angel in the marble, deep within ourselves. And we held on tight to that hammer until we chiseled away piece by piece. And suddenly, that person appeared. And I know that some of you listening to this right now feel the same hopelessness I have felt. Some of you listening to this have experienced this hopelessness until you hit this spot in the marble that started to reveal to you yourself. Because it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time, I promise you. And it doesn't take much. It's fascinating how it could be the smallest things that will reveal you to you. The right haircut, the right top that you wear to a dinner party, the right shade of lipstick. It could be just suddenly seeing yourself that you haven't seen for so long. It could be a comment that somebody makes. It could be that all of your hard work, all of the chiseling at the marble suddenly falls apart piece by piece, and you get to be revealed. But the route to that is challenging, and so many of you are going to battle with that fear. But all it is a fear. And part of the fear is our egos don't want to deal with change. It don't want to change. Our ego doesn't want us to change. It wants to maintain status quo. And as a result, it will utilize every element of that fear to make you feel so hopeless, you're going to want to give up. And some of you probably have given up and then were able to get back in there. And I gotta tell you, there was a moment in my 2-year cancer battle, and I'm overall pretty optimistic, but one day I just completely broke down. And I remember I was sitting in a wheelchair at a kitchen counter, and my father made me lunch, and he brought me this amazing lunch. My father was a phenomenal home cook. And he put this plate in front of me, and I just started crying. And as I say this right now, tears come to my eyes. And he kneeled down and gently asked me, "What's wrong?" And I said, "I'm so tired. I'm just so tired of this. I'm so tired to be strong. And I'm so tired of fighting this." And I know that so many of you feel this way. And I know that so many of you are exhausted, completely exhausted, and feel like you can't go on. And maybe today, or tomorrow, or a week from today, you will feel completely defeated. And that is okay. It is okay to feel that. It's even okay to take a day and allow yourself to escape into mental escapism of Netflix. And then get up the next day and pick up that hammer and keep chiseling away, because you are there. You are there. And if you're not going to set yourself free, nobody else will. And you're so close. You're much more closer to chiseling away that last piece than you realize. So keep going. Don't let your fear get in the way. Don't let your fear make you feel hopeless and defeated. Because if I could beat 16 chemotherapists as a 16-year-old, and I'm here talking to all of you, you can emerge as you, and you will. And you will. And if you're listening to this and you're in that spot right now, know that you're not alone. You're not alone. Everybody I know felt this, and everybody I know have got to the point, to the time in a day when they saw her, him, them reflected back in a mirror. And you will too. If you are listening to this on YouTube, comment, let us know. Have you, and I know you must have experienced this because so many people do. And if you're feeling this way now, the challenge of moving forward and the challenge of being strong, what is keeping you at that momentum right now? And if you want to give up, it's okay to share that you want to give up. But know that we are the only ones who can set ourselves free. We have that power. You have that power. So comment, share. I'm sitting here now with tears in my eyes, and I can't even rub them because I have put on retinol creams on my face, and I know they will sting my eyes if I do. The irony. And I really wish you all a wonderful evening or day or morning, whatever time it is that you're listening. And I wish you to hold on to your hammer, hold on to yourself and not to give up. and I will talk to you all next time. Goodbye.